So my name is Curren Sheldon, and I am the Director of Photography and co-producer of King & Cole, and we are at competition here at CAMERIMAGE.
I was born one morning when it was drizzling rain. I picked up my shovel and I walked to the mines. I loaded 16 ton of number 9 coal.
My wife and I are filmmaking partners. So she's a director, I'm also a director and DP, and we have worked on some previous films together. And King Cole is really a film that has come out of Elaine's own life experience. So she is the daughter of a coal miner. She's from a coal mining family. And in this film, she just really wanted to explore how the coal industry has impacted not only jobs and the economy, but also identity and culture. The film is really an exploration of how people's identity is tied to an industry, and especially for Central Appalachia. And then on the flip side is when that industry starts to decline, what happens to people's culture, what happens to their identity, what do they grab onto next? And so part of the film is also this magical realism element where we are exploring sort of the imagination of what could be in the future. We've done so much work that is verite, observational, and the goal really is to disappear. So you're just trying to have everyone around you as comfortable as possible with your presence. And I think that starts with actually just really being upfront about, hey, I'm here and I'm going to do this, and can I get your buy-in? Whenever you're in front of a camera, like I am now, you're trying to put on some sort of act, right? You're trying to put in like your best foot forward. And sort of the beauty of documentary filmmaking is if you stick around long enough, people can't keep that up anymore to some degree. Right? For most documentary films, it's very stripped down, so I use a Canon C300 as my A cam, and then I use the Canon C70 as my B cam. And those two cameras are really nice as complements to one another because they're both the same sensor, they have the exact same image, but they're very different form factors. Sort of a small collection of lenses. We used the ZEISS CP.3 series, specifically the 25 and the 50 is what we use most of the time. And then for the more magical realism elements of the film, where we're playing a little bit with a hybrid documentary approach, we wanted to use something that had a little bit of just a very unique look. And so I tested out quite a few lenses, the old ZEISS Contacts, which I've owned forever and love those lenses. And then also the old Russian Helios lens, tested that out. So the film largely follows different coal events, but within those coal events, we actually casted 2 young girls. And so we didn't tell them what to say, nothing is scripted, we just placed them in certain scenarios and just allowed them to be themselves. And so the way we sort of worked that in was we obviously had our, more documentary, observational, lock down the tripod, just observing kind of what this world is. And then when we had the 2 girls kind of move through the world and they just talked to each other like friends, just ran through the forest, all the things that young kids do, we became, a little more free floating with the camera, a little more lively. So this film is really exciting because I think it's sort of the first film that my wife Elaine and I have made together, and maybe that I've shot in totality where the cinematography really, really matters. And she had the foresight to do it in a very specific way. She just sort of put a camera on a tripod and whatever the event was, just kind of let it play out. The look was very much of a lockdown, observational, we're just seeing things move in the frame. Like it's not grab a camera and kind of like follow a scene, but rather just let stuff sort of play out in front of you. And then, as we started to move to do more of the sort of magical realism elements, we knew we had to differentiate the 2 worlds. And so we sort of separated the sort of the coal worlds and another world we called Vandalia, which is another name for West Virginia. And so, I think that visual style, the film really starts out strong in this with, just little bits of the other one. And then as the film progresses and by the end, it's sort of all of this different, more magical realism style that we employed. We use the ZEISS CP.3s quite a bit on the observational elements. And so we're using the C300 and the C70, which have Super 35 sensors. So the 25 and 50 were sort of the perfect match for just a nice wide. And then I would always take the second camera and roam sort of in getting different shots. So, and then as we went to the weirder magical realism, the CP3s are almost too nice of lenses to sort of use it for those things. Currently doing a theatrical run around the United States. So It's been doing a theatrical run for probably 3 or 4 months now. So it opened at DC TV in New York City, and now has been playing around independent theaters sort of around the country, and especially in the 13-state region of Appalachia.
There have always been those of us looking for stories that keep us alive.